Hello, welcome to game 2 of UltimateGeek versus Catdontbark. Catdontbark got the first one, and is player 1 here on the second one, so let's see what we've got going on. We do have a swap. We also have Cultist. Something to note, the runes are a lot more valuable when swap will turn them into any 5 cost that you want, so don't click on Cultist. Even if there wasn't already trashing, but there is Sauna and Goatherd stuff here, so I think that's probably fine. Sauna Silver is very unappetizing to me. I think I would look at Goatherd Silver. And then I want to cram and get a Haggler sort of as my first 5. And then figure out from there what I want to do. Probably going to play with swaps and swapping Goatherds and swapping cheaper actions into more expensive actions, that kind of stuff. At least that's the general plan. There aren't a ton of really cheap actions. I guess if you get plus buy somehow from the runes market, you'd actually happily buy runes in this kingdom to swap them into nice things. Let's see, we've got one Sauna Silver and Orchard is slightly interesting with Sauna, but doesn't really do much for me. They both click Cultist. I think they have both missed Swap here, because Swap really nerfs Cultist pretty hard. I do like the UltimateGeek's Goatherd opening better, because you're guaranteed to get trashing going. And I probably would take another Sauna. Would take a Sauna now, just to... because you do already have the silver, but another Goatherd does not seem unreasonable. And as Catdontbark, I think you can already go for swap. You've got a couple of Saunas, Goatherd, you're going to have some runes maybe. Doesn't seem unreasonable. I very much don't like the Cultist for the reasons I said. UltimateGeek here should definitely look to get a swap. Okay, well, it looks like we're not playing with swap on this board. Or maybe we will see it later on and start to put it together. UltimateGeek's got a lot of Goatherds, and they're thinning like pretty aggressively, so they're going to be able to deal with, I think, these curses that are being given out. Or, sorry, these runes that are being given out. And again, dealing with them with, taking the rune that you're given and turning it into a Lost City or a Hunting Party or a Haggler makes your opponent feel pretty bad about having played all those Cultists. So that's what I would be looking to do here as either player when my opponent's getting Cultists. I wonder if this is a kingdom where you buy Runed Market if it's on top of the runes pile. Oh, the other thing is we have the Ox, so these runes are really bad. This is a perfect spot for swap now for UltimateGeek. Just grab a swap and then start swapping these runes into hunting parties and hagglers and stuff. And be pretty happy with your life. Alright, they did it. We got a swap. Very exciting. Let's see what Catdontbark does. And this could be swap Sauna. Does not seem unreasonable. I think we lead here on Necropolis and then Ruined Library to draw a card, see what we draw. They didn't trash anything, I don't think, so Goatherd's not drawing at all. Yeah. Not sure. I'm pretty sure I like buying a copper and or trashing a copper and not doing anything, but we'll see. The real Blacksmith could do some work. They've trashed quite a few coppers those first couple of shuffles. Well, maybe just 2. But for sure that that swap is going to do really good work once they start playing. I think once Ultimate Geek starts playing the swap, you're going to see Catdontbark very quickly get their own swap if they haven't already. And they trashed one there. Yep, so I guess you can play Rune Library, Cultist, Goatherd, and trash the other Rune Library. Or trash the Copper. Hope you don't draw the swap. We have a lot of Rune Libraries in this deck. If we draw this swap without anything to swap, it's going to be really, really unlucky because they just drew a ton of action cards that turn all together, and now they're drawing all their coppers with their Royal Blacksmith. Huh. Okay, well, Catdontbark can get real thin here with 4 Saunas in play. Maybe you only thin 2 and you buy an Avant. I think you just... I really want to swap, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to swap these Cultists into better actions now. I guess you go Cultist, Royal Blacksmith, and be sad. That way also makes sense. This was just an incredibly unlucky draw for Ultimate Geek. They drew all of their treasures all together on this one turn. In the previous turn, they drew like none of their treasures. So just really, really unlucky turn for Ultimate Geek. They should have collided that. They should have collided that swap with an action. I mean, they drew 5 treasures that turn. They drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actions that or something the previous turn. Kind of remarkable, that deck ordering. I would think that they should be pretty far ahead given the swap play here. That can't be right. They must have meant to play the Haggler, right? Why did they play Goatherd and trash Necropolis? That makes no sense. Yeah, Necropolis, Haggler, Abandoned Mine lets you hit 5 and buy a swap. And I am just going to keep saying buy a swap until the end of the game because with all these runes around, swap is the best card. And I really don't want any Goatherd. I really don't want any Cultists in my deck. I want lots of swaps. So as Ultimate Geek here, I think you start by oxing the Goatherd and playing the Royal Blacksmith and seeing where things go. Avanto is, I believe, not... Oh, no. Oh, no. We forgot to ox. Oh, huh. Funny. We can ox after the fact. All right, here we go. Let's go. Swap this rune into something awesome like a Lost City or a Hunting Party. Or another swap, right? You swap the rune into another swap, and then you can swap their survivors into like an Avanto. You can play Necropolis Avanto. And your opponent's like, what's happening? These runes are turning into value. And then Catdontbark's going to play their Cultists again, and then Ultimate Geek's going to have more food for their swaps. They're just going to gain all the actions and win in 2 turns. When DZ said swap exclamation point here, I think it's like very important to realize this is what we were thinking about. Swap is super awesome, and we can do awesome things with it. Yeah, hopefully Ultimate Geek realized that they can swap into swap. Nice. Now they can play this swap and swap this survivors into whatever they'd like. Another swap even. I think I would take another swap. The swap's going to be better than any rune. You can always swap a swap into a Lost City or a Hunting Party, and I think I just keep clicking on swaps as long as I have runes, and my opponent's going to give me the runes back, and then I'm going to swap those into things next turn, and they're going to feel bad, and they're going to have to get their own swap to swap away their Cultists to stop giving out the runes, and eventually the runes pile will be back to almost 10. There's 2 in the trash. It'll be back up to 8, potentially, with neither player has Cultists left. So there's like a world where the Cultist pile goes back up to 10, the runes pile goes up to 8, and this Sauna Vanto's at 0, swaps at 0, and a Hunting Party or something is at 0, and the game is over. This is all very exciting swap material. I think this is the thing with this deck. You just click swap. You keep swapping as long as there are runes to swap. And once you've swapped the last rune, then you can then decide what you want to do with the last swap. Yep, okay, take another swap. And now Catdontbark starts to think, what have I done? I have enabled this massive swap turn. Keep swapping. Swap till you drop, that's my motto. Swap, 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 swap-aran. UltimateGeek has had some connection issues, although there's also been client issues independent of them, so I'm not sure if this is one of those. I see that they reconnected here. Huh. I think they should have taken one more swap and swapped away the Ruined Library, and then they could swap the Ruined Library into a Lost City, and then their deck has an extra swap in it and one fewer Ruin, which seems good. But now you just play the Lost City, obviously. It's like pretty important as UltimateGeek that you don't trash runes here with your Goatherd, because you really want to swap them as your primary source of action. Somewhat notably, Catdontbark can gain basically 2 cards with whatever they buy with Haggler in the second thing, and UltimateGeek can gain like infinite cards with giant swap chains, and just completely plow through the piles here. So like we even see they drew a Copper and Moon Library. It's possible, I don't know the order there, but they could have gotten to do 2 more swaps this turn. And here I think we're just thinning and buying another swap. I believe another swap is the best card for their deck. Because again, if you collide 2 swaps with no other actions, you can just swap the second swap into something that you want to play. They did trash their copper. How many coppers did they discard? They discarded only 1 with the Royal Blacksmith. So it's a somewhat unlucky draw, but again, that Ruined Library could have been swapped last turn into a swap, so if you imagine this Ruined Library as a swap, then you can play the swap there, turn this Ruined Village into a Lost City or an Avanto or whatever it needs to be. We'll see if Catdontbark has realized where this is going and doesn't play these Cultists this turn, and realize like, hey, I don't want my opponent to do more swap stuff. And I'm going to stop swapping now and just use these Cultists as oxen, or possibly you get your own swap and swap away the Cultists. I don't think I'm trashing Abandoned Mine. I think it's good swap food. So for them, gold swap makes sense, and I would have trashed a copper instead of the Abandoned Mine. So we'll see now if UltimateGeek can draw something good off the top. A Lost City, maybe a swap. But we can Ox the Ruined Village and then play Ruined Library. Ooh, that's a good draw. Yeah, again, one of these Ruined Libraries could have been a swap. I wonder, even as Catdontbark, if you don't trash, knowing your opponent is playing so aggressively with... I think you swap this swap now into a Hunting Party. Maybe a Lost City. And here you just take another swap and be sad that you never found... Yeah. If one of these 2 Ruined Libraries was a swap from last turn. Oh, we still had that going. Nice. So we can play this Ruined Library to draw. And... I very much don't want to be playing these Cultists, but... I guess Catdontbark didn't take a swap? Okay. Catdontbark has just now realized what they have done. And DOH, for those international listeners, is an American term meaning annoyed grunt. Go! More commonly rendered. I think probably Ultimate Geek can grab a Haggler now and look to do more swap tricks next turn. But they could also just get another swap, Hunting Party, Lost City, one of those three to draw, and then look to gain and play the Haggler next turn. I don't think the idol is necessary. I think you get enough payload just off of Haggler, and you get like four Hagglers in play and buy province and gain a bunch of swaps, and then you pile out the turn after. So the deck with swap is going to have tons of orchard points, I think, is one issue that we shall see here. But it looks like Catdontbark is going to draw on. It was a little dicey there. Actually, both players had a little dicey turns. They took a... Huh. I think Catdontbark needed another Avanto in their deck. Maybe they just happened to draw really badly here, and there's nothing to be done. And I think I don't trash here. If I'm trashing copper for sure. They just realized that the swap returns runes. This is the perfect turn to get a swap, especially because the Goatherds are going to be bad soon, and the Cultists are kind of bad. So like you've got all these cards in your deck, you're pretty willing to swap. Did we ever see Runed Market? Okay, so 10 runes, no rune markets in the pile. A little bit sad. The rune pile is not 2 of each rune. It's 10 runes randomly from a pool of, I believe, 50. So there's in the pool, there's 10 each of 5 runes. Then you shuffle the 50 card deck and then draw the top 10. So somewhat unlikely to not be any runed markets. Usually the average case there'd be 2. Yeah, so here we can play the Royal Blacksmith at the top of this shuffle. So this is quite awesome for Ultimate Geek. So now they can start swapping. I would go literally Ruined Library into swap, Ruined Village into swap, Cultist into thing, and just say I don't need. I think they're getting too many Lost Cities here, and not enough swaps is my analysis of this situation. I would go swap Library into swap. I would keep swapping runes until there were no runes left, and then I would swap Cultists. And then dare my opponent to give me more runes. So again, this is just swap Ruined Library into swap Ruined Library into swap. And again, if you happen to draw more swaps later, you can always, if you happen to draw 2 swaps and nothing else, you can always swap a swap into a Lost City later when you need it. You don't need it right now. So I would just swap the whole... I would gain all the swaps and swap my Ruined Library and both my Cultists into swaps, and then my deck is mostly swaps. I'd swap the Goatherds into swaps as well, and then the last gain another Haggler or something, play 2 Hagglers, buy a province, and gain a Hunting Party swap or something. That would be really awesome. And like you'd lower the swap pile, and the next turn, if your opponent gives you more runes, you're just gaining stuff. But when Catdontbark doesn't have a swap, I still don't want to give them runes because I want those runes for myself. I want my opponent to give me their runes like they're doing now. This is a free Lost City or Haggler or Hunting Party or something. It's a really, really nice thing to have, a free one of those in your deck, and it's gained your discard pile, so you don't even have to worry about dudding. It's if you get the end of your shuffle, you just get a free 5-cost action. And that being said, I don't know how this game ends. I guess both players gain provinces and idols, and whoever gets Forest's Gift first wins. Or, I don't know, I think the deck with swap can do the orchard stuff much easier. No, because Haggler should enable you to hit orchard on most of the piles. Certainly Haggler, Hunting Party. And so maybe you do keep your Cultists. And as we see here, Catdontbark went over onto Cultists. So they're up by quite a few points now. However, I assume with a bunch of Hagglers, as we're seeing, Ultimate Geek has a bunch of Hagglers, they're going to be able to get those points back later. So, you know, the last turn of the game, you can grab three Goatherds or something. But Catdontbark can gain 3 Lost Cities with their Hagglers. They really do need to get a swap at some point just to smooth out any kind of variance. But we can definitely swap this ruined village into something, maybe even another Haggler. And then Haggler gain, play the 3 Hagglers, then we play the Idols, we give out a Curse, which doesn't do much, but we can hopefully roll Earth's Gift or Forest's Gift, and then we can buy Province and gain like 3 hunting parties. Maybe 2 hunting parties and an Idol. Just so we can Avanto. Yeah, the Avanto doesn't do anything for me here. Okay, and we always click Idle first as an important note. Moon's Gift is a bad one. Yeah, I mean, you take Province. I think you just take 2 hunting parties here, and maybe 2 hunting parties and an Idle. I don't see the point behind Avanto. We're not denying our opponent any Avantos, right? They've already got 3. So I see no reason to take Avantos in the deck. I think I would just rather have hunting parties. And if we've got another Idol does make sense, but I think I would start taking hunting parties now for a little bit more draw. And so on is just going to be tough. They've got a 6-point deficit here due to Catdontbark having pairs of Sauna Avantos. I'm a little confused. You have Sauna Avanto. You have 2 Avantos and a Sauna in your hand. You should really play the Avanto Sauna Avanto in that order, not Sauna Avanto. But here we are. And yeah, this is super nice. UltimateGeek gets this extra rune village. Somehow they got 4 points out of it. They got Cultist points at the end of last turn. So, Catdontbark can still pretty easily get swap points this turn, and they can also pretty easily get Lost City points. So they do have a couple of piles of points that they can get access to. I would not be surprised if they go for one of those this turn. Perhaps you grab like 3 swaps here. I could also believe in like getting an Idol and a couple of swaps. Idol swap Lost City maybe. You could get a little bit of everything and prepare to grab one of those, but don't draw your opponent too many cards with Lost City. They're going for the Goatherd points. Yeah. I guess. I'm not sure. And 2 swaps. Okay, so UltimateGeek now needs to make up some deficit. I think one thing they can do is try to roll Forest's Gift and get double Province in one of these turns, and that puts them in a really good spot to win if they can get to 16 money. Obviously, they've got to get to 16 money, and they don't know they need to get to 16 until the time happens, but until they actually get to their buy phase. So that's just something they need to look for. Goatherd to Haggler. Okay. And probably we just Ox this Cultist and then play the Avanto. That makes some sense. I really wanted them to take a couple more hunting parties last turn, just to give them some more draw and non-terminals. They took 2 terminals and Avantos, and I feel like hunting party is doing basically what, like, I would even go Avanto into hunting party here. That seems completely fine. Hunting party is probably going to find the Lost City, which we can play. We can also swap a Haggler out. Now, I guess looking at this, the Haggler pile is very low, right? Can UltimateGeek play 3 Hagglers, 4 Hagglers? Oh boy, they didn't swap 4. It seems possible that they can gain. Ooh, no, we didn't. We could have played the last Haggler. Oh, they got Forest's Gift, and they can gain 3 Hagglers. Okay. I don't think they won there without Forest's Gift, unless I'm wrong about something. Maybe they... I don't think they pile out there without Forest's Gift. But they found Forest's Gift. The swap deck won. And it's tied 1-1 going into game 3.